Hey guys, it's so fascinating this process. This is day 16 or 17, something like that. I looked at it in my journal this morning of meditating for 1 hour a day, and I swear I'm not here to try to tell you guys to go meditate. I know this is like coming up so much, but it's just such a powerful process for me that it's really alive right now. And what I'm finding is we are so, at least I am so wired to do, to produce, to get things done more, better, bigger, faster, all of those things. And as I become more aware and I'm taking the time in the mornings and the evening to do that centering and just be, the distinction between the feeling of being and the feeling of that racing mind are becoming farther and farther apart, so it's easier to tell which and sort of the gray area in between, if that's making sense. So I'm seeing it more where my mind is just racing from things constantly, like what chores need to be done, what's on the grocery list, just everything sort of running mindlessly in the background a lot. And it's starting to sort of fall away a little bit into more of just the calmness of being able to be in the moment. And it's just so interesting to me how much we're willing to invest outside of ourselves in order to fix something, and how little we're actually willing to just trust and be with ourselves and see what comes out of it. It's like, people will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on therapy and going to the gym and different informationals and how-tos and conferences and stuff like that. And I'm not saying those things aren't awesome. They are. They definitely have a purpose and they can be helpful and supportive. I'm just also suggesting that we give so much of our power away to those other things. I feel like we've been trained to think that there's always somebody else who knows more or has the right answer, and we don't. And we don't have access to that unless we find this person or pay for this product or participate in this thing, that we won't get the result that our mind is wanting, which is from a lie anyways. So I guess through this, I'm just finding all of those little like subtle illusions that we live in, and all kinds of things are changing. Like the ways I'm spending my time, I'm just not as interested in spending time on things that don't fulfill me, even just like watching movies and reading. I'm like constantly looking up stuff that I want to know about on the internet and things like that. And some things I still do, but only things I feel that are really serving me now are like going to social events just because I was invited versus really wanting to go. I'm really being selective, even about answering phone calls and things like that. And it comes back to that of like investment of self. Part of it is time. So many people's reason for not wanting to meditate is not having time. I can tell you guys though, I have way more time now having done this for like 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, than I did before. Because in the falling away of all the lies and illusions and the subtle things that are running you behind the scenes of your mind, when you identify those, they're no longer sucking time away from you. It's like I would be spending time snacking out of boredom, or the thing like going out with your friends when you don't really want to, that type of thing. And with all of that, that naturally will start to fall away as you become aware. And I think actually that kind of like subconsciously scares the hell out of some people when they first start to meditate and all of that stuff starts to come up. We just shut off and stop doing it. And it's always, I use this metaphor with my coaching clients. It's like when you turn on a light in a dark room, like say it's your closet, you can suddenly see all of the clutter and the mess and all of those things that are in there. And even if you turn the light back off, you still know that it's there. That's what meditation is like. And what I'm finding is you can't do this practice consistently every single day and not experience some kind of change. And I'm not saying there's, results are different for everybody. It's going to be based on your life and what's happening for you. This is just my experience. I want to make that clear. But I'm finding all kinds of things that I was investing time, investing money in, investing energy to try to make better or fix from the outside are naturally starting to balance out themselves. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about some of my health struggle and stuff like that, and eating specific ways. I have a lot of food sensitivity and stuff like that, but I noticed with the meditation, the awareness of why I'm eating, when I'm eating, how I'm feeling when I'm doing that, like what is the motivation beneath some of my habits, because I can tell you, especially for me, when I eat a lot of the time, it's not just out of hunger. So as that awareness is cultivated from the meditation, I'm naturally making more healthful choices. So I'm not having to pay somebody to write me protocols or paying for medicine because I have a digestive issue for things like that. And it's totally free. Like all you have to do is sit down and close your eyes for 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever you want to invest in. And I really loved this metaphor that I heard from Kyle Cease the other day. Definitely check out his work if you haven't, about meditation, of how you can liken it to the gym. And people will always say, oh, meditation doesn't work for me. But they've only done it like once or twice. It's like you don't go to the gym for 10 minutes once every month or so and then complain about how you don't have six-pack abs. It's like consistent time and effort that you put into it, and then you start to see things showing up. And it's really the same with meditation. It's a continuing of a coming back to ourself. And I think on another subconscious level, that's a reason why it scares people, is because you can't do this and not experience change, not experience the death of some of old ideas, old belief systems, old stories about yourself. And it can feel really scary to let some of those things go and let them come up and be released. And that's pretty much what you end up doing. When you start to do this practice regularly, it's like you just become the space for all of these old things that aren't serving you to leave and depart. And not because you're trying to force them or make them, just simply the awareness and holding the awareness there of being that space, they leave on their own once they come up and you actually just accept them. So, yeah. And I'm finding that typically when I most do not want to sit and just be and meditate is usually when I need to most. It's in the moment of complete scatterbrained. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and if we have to, but we can't, and da-da-da, and the whole thing just going. And I've really challenged myself to, when I go to that sort of it's like a panicked state almost. And what's crazy to me is that's normal. That in our society, in our culture, it is completely normal, even expected of us, to be these incredible multitaskers that are always doing, and we have to work hard to get things done. And it's almost like if you're not doing that, then you're seen as lazy or, some other negative thing. But I've really challenged myself to step out of that some. And when I'm in those moments of just feeling the really, really increased need to do, to step back and take, even if it's just 15 minutes, to sit with my eyes closed and just see what's coming up. And when I really do, it's way easier and I'm way more efficient at actually accomplishing the things that I wanted to. And I always think of the grocery list for this, because I'll be feeling like I'm in a hurry to have to go run all these errands in town, and then I'm forgetting to put things on my list. I'm not getting them from the store, and then I'm going multiple times a week, and it just becomes this inconvenient, unsustainable to ourselves and to the planet practice that stems from this lack of disconnect, or from this lack of connect. It stems from a disconnect with ourselves. And if you take the 5, 10, 15, whatever amount of time to just come back and connect in, everything else flows so much more smoothly. So, food for thought. That's just where I'm at in my experience right now. We'll see what else comes up.